Chair Magana,
Present.
Vice Chair Ramos,
Here.
Commissioner Banks,
Here.
Commissioner Westfall,
Here.
Commissioner Gardner, Commissioner Baker, Commissioner Mendoza,
Here.
Commissioner Rooney,
Here.
Commissioner Wendy, Commissioner Brown, Commissioner Allen,
Here.
Commissioner Seller.
Here.
We have quorum.
Thank you so much. With that, we'll move on to item 2, which is our consent calendar. I'd like to entertain a motion that we approve items A and B, which is our agenda and our minutes. We have a motion from Commissioner Allen. Do we have a second? Second from Commissioner Westfall. Any discussion? Seeing none, all in favor, please say aye. All opposed, all abstaining, motion passes. We have an agenda and have approved our minutes. We'll move on to item 3, which is a public record. Do we have any correspondence?
We do not.
Wonderful. We'll then move on to item 4, which is open forum. Is there anyone here in the public or online for open forum?
There is none.
Awesome. We'll then move on to our next item, which is item 5, our discussion and action items. We have an informational item, which is one of my favorite ones. We have an update from our youth commission. So we'll turn it over to our amazing youth commission. Thank you for being here. And a reminder for commissioners, we'll ask questions at the end because we do have to open it up for public comment before we open up for questions. So welcome, y'all.
Good evening, members of the Library and Education Commission. I'm Nolan Mascarenas, Chair of the Youth Commission.
I'm Andrew Liu, the Vice Chair of the San Jose Youth Commission this year. I'm glad to see that some of you all are, getting younger. Last time I've seen you.
Thank you for having us here today to present the findings from our annual Youth Priorities Survey. This survey is crucial in shaping our work plan and advocating for youth priorities during budget considerations. Let me walk you through our survey methodology and participation. So the survey ran from October 28th to December 9th, 2024. We had 32 thoughtfully designed questions, and none of the questions required responses, allowing participants to share what they felt comfortable with. We achieved a total of 463 participants with an impressive 82% completion rate. Our outreach was successful through multiple channels, including 209 responses coming through flyers, 182 from social media, 72 through email, and we incentivized participation with Apple AirPods drawings, which proved effective. So on to demographics and representation. Our respondents represented a diverse cross-section of San Jose youth. 56% were high school students and 23% were middle school students. We had strong representation from various communities, including 51% Asian or Pacific Islander, including Vietnamese, 26% Hispanic or Latino, and 10% white. We also had great language diversity, including 55% of people speaking English at home, 14% Spanish, and multiple Asian languages represented, including Vietnamese, Mandarin, and Cantonese. Other important demographics included 54% of respondents identifying as women, 39% as men, 14% struggled with mental health previously or currently, 11% identified as part of the LGBTQIA+ community, 21% are part of the first generation Americans in their family, and 9% would be the first in their family to attend college.
Perfect. Then looking at the geographical distribution, District 4 shows the highest school attendance rate at 25%. We attribute this spike to the response spike from Piedmont Hills Middle School or Piedmont Middle Schools. And District 5 has the highest residency rate at 23%. We see generally good representation from all city districts. We even have some participants to respond to the survey from other parts of Santa Clara County. This signals the Youth Commission's broader impact on the region.
Our survey identified critical priorities for San Jose youth. Our youth ranked these various issues on a scale from 1 to 5, and the top priorities were as following. Violence and safety came in at first place with a score of 4.27 out of 5. Poverty, housing, and homelessness came in second with a score of 4.24 out of 5. Educational resources and programs came in third at 3.97 out of 5. Job opportunities came in at fourth at 3.95 out of 5. And mental health resources rounded out with 3.86 out of 5. And the rest of the issues are on there as well. And this shows that our youth are deeply concerned about fundamental safety and stability issues in our community. Compared to last year's results, we saw an increase in concern about violence and safety, where housing and homelessness consistently ranked among the top priorities. Educational resources consistently also rank high, and a notable addition is that job opportunities are emerging as a key concern amongst youth.
Our youth provided insightful suggestions for addressing some of the issues, including mental health resources in schools, better bike lanes and street lighting, an integrated approach to homeless services, environmental initiatives, community engagement through workshops and panels, expanded transportation options. One of the respondents from this quotes said, installing mental health resources in schools across San Jose and highlighting their abilities and availability to students could be helpful.
When asked about how youth feel about local government and how they agree with the statement, the local city of San Jose government reflects youth priorities, 37.3% felt that the city government reflected youth priorities, which was denoted by the combination of answers from strongly agree to somewhat agree, while 46.1% are still neutral or unsure. So some trends compared to last year, 2.6% of the strongly agree answer, we saw an increase of the strongly agree answer by 2.6%. We saw an increase of the somewhat agree answer by 4.7%. The neutral response rate decreased by 5%, suggesting more youth are forming opinions about local government as well as engaging more. And we're seeing a positive trend, but we recognize that there's still room for improvement.
Perfect. And this next slide shows a few more direct quotes from the survey. These direct quotes show a desire to engage more with city leadership, a growing recognition of existing youth programs, concerns about implementation, about youth suggestions, appreciation for current initiatives, and calls for more direct communication. One of the respondents says, quote, I do not know much about my community reflecting youth priorities, but I like the volunteer options for teens available at my library. Next, we have future careers. 62.5% of respondents have identified dream careers. 17% are still exploring. 16.7% are unsure. Career interests. Popular career interests are healthcare and medical field, leading at 19%. There's a strong interest in STEM at 13%, creative arts at 11%, social impact roles at 7%, and policy and law at 6%.
So moving on to career motivations, youth shared inspiring reasons for their career choices, including a desire to help others, interest in solving community problems, family influences, creative expression, and environmental concerns, with one respondent quoting, my dream job is to become a lawyer and to do something in policy because I want to be able to level the playing field for those who don't receive the same opportunities.
When asking about the familiarity with San Jose programs, the Youth Commission came in with the highest recognition rate at 31%, followed by Teens Reach at 29%. There's definitely room for improvement about other valuable San Jose programs, including San Jose Works, which is at 15%, and Work to Future, which is at 12%. Key findings about students' experiences. Academic life shows mixed results. 35% are excelling in schools, while 34% are feeling like they're struggling in schools, as if there are two sides to that same coin. Time management is a significant challenge amongst our respondents. Mental and emotional well-being needs attention, and good news is that there is a reported strong sense of social connection amongst many students within schools.
So we will be hosting our Budget Priority Summit on January 26, 2025, which is an interactive forum for you to directly engage with San Jose City Council members And we have other youth engagement events on the horizon, and we would welcome your support in promoting these events and spreading awareness about our upcoming opportunities. Thank you for your attention. I'm happy to take any questions about our findings or upcoming initiatives.
Let's give it up for our wonderful presenter. Before we get into questions and comments, any public comment on the presentation?
I see none.
All right, we'll open up the floor for commissioners. If our vice chair has a question.
Thank you for your presentation. I have so many questions, but the most important one for me is, do you have a time and place for your budget or your priorities?
Yes, so we will be hosting it on January 26th, 2025 at King Library, I believe in room 225. And I think it runs from 1:30 to 5 p.m.
Thank you.
Other questions or comments from commissioners? Keep up the phenomenal work. The city is in good hands with the youth. The future is bright. And thank you for all that you're doing. Let's give it up for our youth commissioner. Oh, we do have one question. Commissioner Ray, let's bring over the mic, sorry. And for context, the mic is for the audio, for online.
I was curious to know what initiatives are you all thinking about when it comes to youth engagement within civics?
Right, there are a few areas that we have focused. There's a very clear wanting to focus on environmental literacy and education. There's a focus on career and education. And then there's a focus on addressing gender-based violence within the city of San Jose too. So those are our real three big priorities right now.
And so just a little bit of background about where that came from. Each year, the Youth Commission hosts a two to 3 day retreat in which we develop a work plan that guides the rest of our objectives for the year. And so during that retreat, we came up with 3 objectives that Andrew mentioned. So that's where that really started and so each year it also changes. And so next year, the new commission will develop a new set of priorities, but that's our priorities for this year.
Commissioner
I noticed when you had the different career choices that were told to the youth, it had STEM, but I did not see teaching in general. Is that now not a very favorable job that the youth are looking at? Speaking as a retired teacher.
Hi, I'm Megan Malloy. I'm the senior librarian. I'm the senior librarian in charge of youth services, and I support the San Jose Youth Commission. And teaching was underneath social impact or helping profession.
Okay, thank you.
There was a lot of general tags for all of those. Good job.
Excuse me.
Okay, so, sorry, Megan, you might have to answer this. I noticed, there was, of course, a flip-flop between housing and homelessness and violence and safety. I'm curious to know if you have a geographic demographic of how many people said that they were concerned about violence and safety. Like, is it more like D4 residents, D3 residents? I don't know if your data is disaggregated as such.
That's an excellent question. Thank you. For privacy purposes, we don't track that. We could probably try and see if there's any respondents that align with the schools that were reported, because the districts are assigned basically by the schools that they report. But we don't have that information currently, but we can take a look and see if that's something we can disaggregate.
Thank you. And just one more, sorry. With respect to the slide regarding the favorability of local government being a little bit higher than I had anticipated, do you think that perhaps, do some of these respondents to the survey, have they participated in the planning around the city's children and youth master planning process?
think like all of the things we definitely during this response, from the surveys, there's been a mix of both. The children youth master plan, they've tried to engage as much youth as they can. But not all of the respondents, I'm sure there are some, but not all of them have participated.
What I will say is that as a commission, we have been engaged in the Children and Youth Services Master Plan. And so as part of that, each of us commissioners hosts something known as youth advisory councils. And so basically we have a group of teens or youth from our districts, which also help support the work of not only the youth commission, but also they have their individual work plans in their district. And so as part of that, a lot of these survey respondents are from these YACs. And so because of their familiarity with the youth commission, they also are familiar in turn with the Children and Youth Services Master Plan. So there is a level of familiarity among these survey respondents, although there are obviously a number of survey respondents who aren't part of these YACs. And so for the people who aren't part of these YACs, I don't think we have a clear answer on their familiarity, but I'm sure that there are some youth who did respond and were familiar with it.
Any other questions or comments from the commission? Commissioner.
Wanted to ask you, my particular interest and one of the main reasons I'm here is First Amendment issues, freedom to read, open access for the public to the library's collection without any particular special interest groups saying, you can see this, but you can't see this sort of thing. Were those concerns evident at all in your interviews? Just the whole idea of freedom to read and open access to the library's services and the collection.
I'm sure that's it's probably not a data point that's in the survey. I'm sure that young people feel strongly about access to educational resources. That's actually a factor that in the response, young people really feel like they need support with in terms of getting those educational resources, and the library just happens to offer a lot of those programs and services. It's really about engaging and sharing those resources with our young folks.
Sure, the reason I bring it up is because there are interest groups within this community and other communities in the surrounding area, if not the entire country, who would deny to young people based simply on their age access to certain things within the collection. So, well, thank you very much. Appreciate it.
Other questions or comments? Let's give it up one more time for our youth committee. Thank you so much. As a reminder, for our commission, this is an informational item, so it does not require any action. So we'll move on to item B, which is an additional informational item, which is our digital equity assessment report.
Good evening, everyone. I am so excited to introduce to you for the first time in this grouping, the Digital Empowerment and Public Technology team. They've been working hard for several years on many different aspects of this work, and some of it you've heard about, and some of it you haven't, and you'll learn about tonight. So without further ado, please give a warm and friendly welcome to Abby Scholl, Una Paul, and Yadira Orozco.
Thank you, Anne. Good evening, chairs and commissioners. My name is Abby Scholl. I'm the acting division manager for digital empowerment and public technology. I'm joined by and Yadira to share a status report on digital equity assessment and the next steps for this important work. So before we jump in, I'd like to introduce the team and our work in the library's digital empowerment and public technology division. Is our broadband and partnerships manager, overseeing partnerships with telecommunications providers, for equitable broadband deployments, and our partnership with Eastside Union High School District to provide community Wi-Fi. She also leads legislative advocacy and intergovernmental relations related to digital equity and drives citywide broadband strategy implementation. Yadira is our digital equity and empowerment manager, overseeing SJ Access programs, which include digital skill building, device lending, managing the city's digital inclusion grant program, which celebrates its 5-year anniversary next month, and the newly launched Resilience Core Workforce Development SJ Access Pathway, designed around information technology and computer science. You'll hear more about this work throughout the presentation tonight. Also, within our division are the Library Information Technology Unit and Data Analytics Units, whose work is not directly part of today's report. A little background to set the stage. In 2016, the city began developing a citywide broadband and digital inclusion strategy to address the digital divide. After recognizing that broadband internet speeds in San Jose lagged peer cities both nationally and internationally, and at least 95,000 residents in San Jose did not have access to internet service at home. In 2017, the City Council adopted the Broadband and Digital Inclusion Strategy, and early actions included piloting community Wi-Fi in the James Lick school attendance area and developing partnerships with AT&T, Verizon, and T-Mobile, which in 2018 began bringing in lease revenue from city streetlights used for their commercial broadband network deployments. This revenue goes directly into the city's Digital Inclusion Fund to finance the city's efforts to close the digital divide. In 2020, backed by the Digital Inclusion Fund, the city launched the Digital Inclusion Grant Program in February 2020, awarding $1 million in grants to community-based organizations to implement in-community digital navigation programs. In March 2020, the pandemic demanded fast action and growth as it immediately made access to technology and connectivity a necessity for daily life and highlighted the digital divide. In response, we rapidly developed new programs and accelerated existing ones. We awarded approximately $1.4 million in additional digital inclusion grants to schools to support remote learning. We contributed city funding to expand and expedite community Wi-Fi deployment to 8 attendance areas over a 2-year period instead of 10 years. And the library launched SJ Access, which began with distributing about 12,000 hotspots to schools and making about 5,000 hotspots available for lending at libraries. By 2022-2023, in the wake of the pandemic, many things had changed. The Digital Inclusion Grant Program had distributed close to $3 million in grants. All 8 community Wi-Fi networks were complete. We had added 17 outdoor Wi-Fi zones at community centers and libraries for after-hours access. And at the same time, revenue from telecom streetlight leases were on the decline, and state and federal pandemic aid measures were in their final funding cycles. This prompted the need to assess the current state of the digital divide and to update the city's strategy. The assessment had 4 key findings comparing 2017 to 2025. The quality of wired internet service in San Jose increased from the bottom to middle range compared to peer cities, but wireless remains at the bottom range. Access to fiber internet service has grown from 1% to 37%. Choice between internet service providers has grown as home wireless became a new option for service in the last few years, but wired service choice remains limited. And households without internet subscription reduced from 49,000 to 39,000. However, the cost of internet plans and devices, as well as concerns about online safety and service contracts, remain key barriers to internet use. Based on the current state assessment, we developed 3 strategic goals with corresponding objectives to update the citywide strategy to address the city digital divide. Goal 1 is to ensure broadband is available to all and future ready, which includes setting basic and aspirational broadband speeds so we can measure progress against these benchmarks. Goal 2 is to provide best-in-class broadband permit processes and enabling structures, which is aimed at working with city permitting departments, including planning, building, and public works, to simplify permitting so commercial networks can be constructed as quickly as possible to meet growing community demands. And goal 3 is to close the digital divide through digital empowerment, which includes digital skill building and community digital navigation supported by the Digital Inclusion Grant Program, increasing workforce development programs, and continuing legislative advocacy related to digital equity. Next, Uwe Yadira will describe the progression of their programs in alignment with these goals. First, I'll hand it off to Uwe.
All right, so digital equity starts with having access, and that's internet and device. So since 2017, and really since the pandemic, remote work, distance learning, and digital habits have changed how we live now and how we interact with each other. And so to support that shift, partnerships with telecoms as well as faster permitting process in the city have helped expand broadband infrastructure in the city. And we have seen improvement. We have seen better coverage, faster speeds, and in the city for the basic speed that is available in the city pretty much widely. Although the gigabit speeds are still limited at right now at 37%. And at the same time, people are more relying on smartphones and cellular plans as the main way to access internet, which restrict them for certain activities online. But so as we are celebrating, the better or improvement of the broadband infrastructure, we acknowledge that there are still over 150,000 residents who are still unconnected or underconnected. The average cost of internet of $68, that's still a big barrier to most, especially for the low income families. So the city is closing that gap with the digital inclusion priority index you're seeing on the right there. So the index identifies areas most in need based on internet access and the household income. So the purple and pink are the areas identified as most in need.
Attention, the library will close in 30 minutes. There are no extended study. Exit the building by 8 p.m. Once again, we'll close in 30 minutes.
And so expanding on the previous slide, we can do better. We know we can do better. We know that we have low competitions in the city. Most of us have only 1 or 2 basic speed options available. And for many mobile homes and multifamily housing, don't even have those basic speeds available. 64% in the city don't have gigabit speed access, and that limit, how they can fully take advantage of digital economy. So with that infrastructure gap, as well as affordability barrier, many people use community Wi-Fi as their safety net. Since 2016, the city has partnered with Eastside Union High School District to roll out its free outdoor community Wi-Fi. And now we have a total of 8 networks serving over 200,000 people. The networks are highly used, but the challenge is now that this technology needs refresh every 5 to 7 years, and there are ongoing operation and maintenance costs. So to continue with this initiative, we need to come up with a sustainable solutions to carry on. With that, I'll pass it on to Daryl for the next slide. Thank you.
Buenas noches, everyone. Good night. The launch of the SJ Access in 2020, due to the pandemic, highlighted the digital divide and the immediate needs of our community, of course. And so utilizing emergency funds coupled with one-time state and federal funding to address this gap. This funding fueled a significant growth spurt, allowing the library to rapidly implement solutions. And so 22 local education agencies were given 12,800 free AT&T hotspots for distance to support their distance learning. And with device lending as a core component, the same emergency funds helped SJ Access expand its reach within our library community. Between 2020 through 2024, the program scaled quickly and allowed the library to bring hotspots to circulation. Our collection grew from 3,000 filtered and unfiltered hotspots to 7,000 hotspots in circulation, which supported 55,000 residents. Then in addition of 1,000 internet-enabled Chromebooks, and that collection also grew then to 2,500 in circulation. That also supported over 10,000 residents. But as funding levels stabilized, the library had to adjust and reduce availability of the hotspot program. And so program funding for hotspots and internet-connected Chromebooks ended on June 30th of just last year, and then services was officially disconnected in August of 2024. The library, though, still continues to circulate 1,700 Wi-Fi enabled Chromebooks, and our plan is to add an additional 200 Chromebooks to our circulation this year. It feels like which one? Within the same time frame, the digital skill building repository that is available at the library also expanded. From the pandemic's onset to today, we've supported over 80,000 residents, with 72,000 of these being library program participants and 8,000 of these being program participants that were supported through the Digital Inclusion Fund grant. Again, as the pandemic highlighted our community needs, the Digital Skill Building Pathway Program was added to SJ Access programming suite to address this gap of digital skill, supporting our community with gaining digital skills. The Learning Pathway now hosts over 70 skill building courses that are available in English, Spanish, and Vietnamese. The categories within the repository range from entry-level skill building and all the way to how to use tech for fun. And the library's newest addition is artificial intelligence, where the goal is to provide a level set of understanding for our residents in this exponentially growing innovation. We continue to advance and build capacity to support community further by focusing on workforce development opportunities. And so we're happy to share the newest addition to the SJ Access programming suite, which is the Resilience Core Associate SJ Access Pathway, which actually this week is the official first week. They're on third day of orientation, which is going very smoothly. The program is a workforce development program targeted at youth entering the workforce. Specifically, it's a program that facilitates the opportunity to gain experience in coding and in the IT field. Key components of the program include learning how to code and then at the end of the program, they will be taking a certification, an industry recognized coding certification. And then as well, we'll be gaining IT support IT experience. This program is a collaborative effort with our very own library IT division that provides hands-on subject matter experience to empower participants with tangible skills to utilize in the workforce. As we continue to expand and elaborate on this new program iteration, the library's goal is to onboard Resilient Core Associates as digital navigators and place them at digital inclusion grant funded tech hubs within our community. The goal is that these associates will help community members improve digital skill building and access to technology directly at these community tech hubs. The expansion of the SJ Access Resilient Core Associates program will help contribute to close the digital divide and in San Jose by directly supporting both library patrons and the broader community in San Jose.
Thank you, Yadira. Since the commencement in February 2020 of the grant program, we've awarded over 4 million in grants to community-based organizations and schools, assisting over 8,700 residents with internet access and device access, as well as digital skill development. Following the pandemic in 2023, as funding restraints became clear, we made changes to the grant program to maximize its efficiency and to better meet the needs of residents. Management moved from the city manager's office to the library, with the Library Foundation as the fiscal agent to align with the library's existing digital inclusion work. Between 2020 and 2023, we also gained better understanding of the types of support residents need. They need to know where they can find support, who they can trust for advice, and have access to a broad range of digital supports that can be individualized. I'll hand it back to you, Dara, to talk about the programmatic changes that we made to address these needs in our latest round of the grants.
So with that, we have shifted the grant program to address the evolving community needs to focus on frequent access to services rather than a one-time support. Recognizing that not everyone needs the same services, the program prioritizes comprehensive approach, including providing internet access, skill opportunities, digital navigator services that are inclusive and accessible in various formats at these locations. This new approach to the grant provides community-based organizations with the opportunity to continue offering direct support to their community. It focuses on helping individuals access computers, receive these digital skill trainings, and acquire their own devices, while the community organizations prioritize the trust within their community and addressing the unique needs of each individual as they rather receive the services and how and when. Okay. Yeah, so a quote from Angela, a client that was serviced by SourceWise. You taught me so much in just one class, and I'm excited to see how much more I'll learn through this program. And through attending the program and training that SourceWise provided to Angela, she was able to gain and raise her confidence level and branching out to learn how to utilize her own device to then access language courses online. The digital navigators at SourceWise provided this step-by-step guidance and encouraged Angela as she successfully logged in and attended her online language classes.
So our next steps are to present to the Neighborhood Services and Education Committee on February 13th, and then take the final report to City Council for approval in the spring. And ahead of going to City Council, we would love your feedback and input on this report and what you would like to see in the final recommendations to City Council. Thank you very much. I'll open it up for questions.
Let's give it up for our presenter. We'll open up the floor for public comment. Any public comment?
I see that.
We'll open up the floor for commissioners. Any questions or comments from the commission? Commissioner Mendoza?
Just a quick clarification on the map. If you can go back to that slide. That one. So, I guess the next slide is the next slide, the pink, like the purple area that.
The next slide. This is the Digital Inclusion Priority Index, and the color is coding for the priority area. So the purple and pink that you see are higher priority than the blue and light blue that you see.
And the next slide is.
And this slide, where you see the green, that's the coverage area of the 8 community Wi-Fi
Got it.
networks.
Okay, thank you.
Thanks very much. The community Wi-Fi piece, so I recall when the hotspot funding was ending, that there was great disappointment about that. What are you hoping, what would you like to see happen next? Is it expanded Chromebooks? Is it have more Wi-Fi out into the library or surrounding neighborhoods? Because not all of them have that. Like what are you hoping for? Yes.
I can see your eyes. Thank you for that question, Commissioner. I think, we do want to hear about what questions the commission has and help us formulate, but I do think that one of the things we've been working for these past several years is recognizing that the true solution is sustainable connectivity for households. So even our community Wi-Fi network is just that, a safety network or a safety net. It's not a sustainable, individual connection. And so I think one of the things we're going to be talking about is how can we reach out again and reconnect with our partners in the telecommunications industry locally around how do we get the households that are not connected, because we're really at a point where it's not easy. Like we've really done a lot to, get folks who can be connected, and really honing in on where the hardest to reach areas are and what are the options the city could help even just encourage. More internet libraries is not gonna solve that problem.
No, that was wonderful. I would say, Uis is our expert in thinking through this specific question, and correct me if I get it wrong, but I think $68 as the average cost. That is the top barrier is cost for families and those who remain in the digital divide or who fall back into it.
Once again, we'll close in 15 minutes.
Are really struggling to be able to afford that amount. And so this also goes into the advocacy and legislative strategy that U also is our lead on, is to work through various levels of government and, regionally across the Bay Area, across the state, to try to leverage the whole group to motivate some low-cost plans being built into the telecom providers' options.
Other questions or comments from the commission? I want to personally say thank you. I had the opportunity to thank you to the team for everything that you all have done. I specifically, it's like a core memory picture in my mind, remember handing out some of these hotspots during the pandemic, specifically to families in Alum Rock. And they told us without this, especially during the pandemic, there was no way they'd been able to connect to school, to their counselors, to their doctors, to applying for college, applying for jobs. I can go on and on. So I want to say thank you for that. And thank you for the tech hubs. I think it is so awesome that we're meeting folks where they're at in their respective community to collaborate with them to hopefully get more folks to turn out, because I know if I feel more comfortable in the space, I'm more likely to be there and engage with what's in front of me. So thank you for doing that. Any other comments or questions from the commission? Yes.
So I have a request, which is that, one of the things that we have seen is that households are more likely to want to invest in internet as a priority if they see the value. And so a lot of the work that Yadira's team has been doing around digital skill building is recognizing the value of these skills and the accessibility of them. And so I would love it if commissioners would test out our online digital skill building pathways and give us feedback on what you think is good and where you think we could add more, or any kind of issues you had, because I know we keep wanting to add to those and make sure that they're useful by our community.
Piece of homework for the commission. Any other questions or comments, y'all? All right, let's give it up to our wonderful presenters. Thank you again for all that you're doing. Reminder, folks, that was an informational item, so it does not require any action. So we'll move on to item C, which is an action item, which is our college and career pathways status report.
Okay, commissioners, these are some well-known friendly faces. So we have our division manager, Vidya Colombi, and Amanda Audi, who oversees our college and career pathways team.
Thank you, Jill. Good evening, commissioners. Like Jill said, I'm Vidya Colombi. Today, Amanda and I are very excited to present highlights of our work as part of the college and career pathway status report. We want to ground the presentation today in a reminder about why work that focuses on supporting community members on pathways to college and career is so important. One is the gap between the living wage and the minimum wage in San Jose. Another is the high cost of living for families, especially compared to other areas of California. And the third is the degree of housing insecurity we see for young people navigating the transition from high school to next steps in the educational or workforce journey, acknowledging that San Jose has the highest concentration of high unhoused 18 to 24-year-olds in the country. One of the ways our library team has worked to improve the lives of people in San Jose is through the establishment of the Education and Digital Literacy Strategy in 2018. You heard our annual report in October, which included the programmatic spotlights from the college and career pathways work that we have undertaken. As the education strategy has developed with meaningful guidance from this commission, we have also received guidance from City Council and its committees that helped us refine and implement the strategy to maximize impact. In 2021, the Neighborhood Services and Education Committee directed staff to identify specific actions that would close gaps in the college and career system, strengthen collaboration across city programs and departments, and enhance coordination with external partners. In March 2022, City Council approved recommendations to allocate $525,000 of the $4.5 million community benefit payment from Google to include a college and career pathways coordinator position. In July 2022, Amanda stepped into the coordinator position and started a 3-year project to refine the city's strategic approach to meet specific goals. And I will now hand the presentation over to Amanda, who will present on her work.
Good evening, Commissioners. I'm Amanda Addy, the College and Career Pathways Coordinator, and I'm grateful for the opportunity to be here today. As Vidya alluded, our College and Career Pathways work does not happen in a vacuum, and it's been thoughtfully integrated with other initiatives, including the Children Youth Services Master Plan. This slide shows the high-level goals guiding our work, which focus on improving education and employment outcomes, increasing the participation of underserved groups in key opportunities that will help them develop workforce readiness skills, and measuring and reporting the impact of this work to key stakeholders like yourselves. Our city team's strategic approach to this work is organized in a 3-part framework, recognizing the various roles the city plays in addressing opportunities for workforce development and supporting economic stability. The first is the city's role as a classroom, which is led by the library department through the education strategy. The second is the city's role as an employer, which is led by HR and supported through all departments facilitating workforce development programs and initiatives, including the library. And the third is the city's role as a community connector, which is led by PRNS through the implementation of the master plan and the San Jose Youth Empowerment Alliance. And it is uplifted by all departments fostering partnerships and relationships with community organization and members, or in other words, all departments. While it may appear by the design of the slide that this work is happening in silos, it is the real work of our city team to ensure that these efforts build upon each other and maximize the positive impact to our community. We can't talk about the education strategy and the city's role as a classroom without talking about our favorite thing, quality standards. The College and Career Quality Standards were developed by an ad hoc committee, including 3 representatives from this commission, and adopted in 2020. The standards have been implemented in stages over the past 5 years through the use of an assessment tool and an aligned improvement planning process. In this last year, we assessed 11 programs across 7 departments, as well as 2 programs supported through city-funded grants. The programs on this slide represent our hallmark college and career programs in San Jose that help youth and adults explore possible careers,
understand and access educational requirements for their desired field, and have experiences that support their workforce development journey towards and beyond earning a living wage. These next few slides show some of the key outcomes achieved through college and career programming efforts in the last fiscal year. You're used to seeing counts of participants served, and these slides aim to tell a more comprehensive story focused on the impact of programs. A more detailed version of this table is included in the memo, and I know everyone is eager to get to the budget item. So I'll just highlight a few points on each slide. You heard me talk about Career Online High School back in October as part of our education strategy report. But since then, we have a key update I wanted to share, which is that we hit a key milestone of serving over 200 adults in San Jose, helping them earn their degree, their diploma, and a career certificate for free through the library through this program. And as of this week, we're actually up to 205. Yay. And here we are gathered in SJPL Works, which is our Career and Business Center. Last year, we served over 1,400 participants in programs in the last year, and 90% of participants who completed our survey affirmed that they learned something new that is helpful to establishing a business or advancing in career. I spoke in length about the Resilience Corps programs in October, so I'll shout out the Fire Explorer program on this slide, which is very unique to our region. And I strongly recommend you reach out to learn more if you have any aspiring firefighters or EMTs in your life. And on this slide, I'll spotlight SJ Bridge, which is facilitated through the city's housing department and helped 34 people experiencing homelessness gain permanent employment in fiscal year 23-24. I know I'm moving through these quickly, so if you want to come back in questions, I'm happy to spend a little bit more time on this slide. One project our SJPL Works team facilitated last year that we're particularly excited about is the new Community Resources for Job Seekers webpage, which launched in October. This online tool serves as a directory of vetted local organizations designed to help people find jobs and career development support. It was developed in response to the call to action from Youth Forum 2.0, for which the library served as a co-convener with Lighthouse Silicon Valley and the Youth Liberation Movement. More information on this is available in the memo, but I'll share a few stats that aren't included there as they were just confirmed by our web team earlier this week, which is that the tool has had 410 visits since launch. It has been accessed in English, Chinese, and Vietnamese, and users tend to come back multiple times. This slide includes some information about upcoming program improvement and development efforts in flight, which include the SJ Access pathway of the Resilience Corps. And I don't know if you noticed, but when Yadira was presenting, there's a picture of the 4 new associates in this very room. So I hope you're feeling that innovative energy. They were just here. And then this is not the last you'll hear from our team on this topic. We'll be back to provide an update in March with information about how we'll be integrating the results of the Youth Priority Survey that you heard about earlier tonight into our work plan, ensuring that what matters most to the young people who would benefit from college and career programs is at the center of everything that we do. We will also work with the master plan implementation team and continue to share updates with our larger education strategy team. This concludes our presentation today. We are available to answer any questions, and thank you for your time and attention.
Let's give it up for our presenter. Before we go into comments or questions from the commission, we'll open up the floor for open forum, public comment, any public comment.
We have none.
All right, the floor is open for discussion and comments from the commission. Do we partner at all with Metro Ed by chance? The JPA, because it covers basically all students, high school students in San Jose. I'm just curious.
Yes, Metro Ed is absolutely among our local education agency partners. We partner with them through the School City Collaborative. Our team regularly goes out to attend college and career fairs at Metro Ed. And I know you were there last night for a different topic. So yes, we do partner with Metro Ed. And we've done tours to think about what those logical pipelines of opportunities are from their specific CTE programs into job pathways that exist within the city. I think it falls under that city as employer part of the framework.
Thank you, Ariel. Any other questions or comments from the commission? All right, folks, this does require action on behalf of the commission. So with that, I'd like to entertain a motion that we receive the update of the status of the college and career pathways and vote to accept this report. Do I have a motion? We have a motion from Commissioner Allen. Do we have a second? Commissioner Biggs seconds. Floor is open for discussion. Seeing none, all in favor, please say aye. All opposed? All abstaining? Motion passes. Thank you so much.
Building and have a good night.
The commission is on this quorum. So we'll move on to our last item, which is an information item, does not require action, which is our library budget review.
Good evening, Commissioners. I'm Jenny Choi, Deputy Director of Operations. You've seen a lot of me in the past couple of months, Commission, so I don't think I need introductions. I would like to take this opportunity to introduce you all to our new administrative officer who is in our audience today. This is Fiona Cabana. She's been with us for 3 weeks now. So we didn't want to throw her up here to do this. I'm going to take care of this presentation tonight, and then you'll see her more in the future. So as we reviewed last month, this is just a current snapshot of our fiscal year budget overview. We reviewed the operating budget, which we have at 68.4 million. That is comprised of the general fund, 55.4 million, our library parcel tax fund, some capital funds, and then our gift trust funds, which are our donated funds. And then on the other side, we have our capital budget as well, which is 25 million for this current fiscal year. 5.4 million is in our bond projects fund. 19.6 comes from our construction and conveyance tax. And then there's a small portion of the library parcel capital that is dedicated to our grant match funding. And the total capital improvement program for the 5-year total is 59.6 million. And as you can see, some of the services that our operating budget funds are our core services, access, education, strategic support, our personal services or staff salaries. And we have about 396.02 full-time equivalents. That's approximately 650 positions. So as you've heard before, that's 80% of our operating budget. And then on the capital side, just our facilities improvements and equipment, our collections, our acquisitions of materials, our public technology, and then our building forward state infrastructure grant and bond projects. And again, you've seen this before. It's just a breakdown of our general fund. So you can see the big chunk of it is our salaries in that big blue, dark blue area. There's a small portion of it, citywide expenses, a very small portion of gifts, as you can see, 0.2%. Other overhead is about 0.4%. That's just central citywide costs that we pay to other departments for central services. And then our non-personal services equipment is about 7.7 million, which makes up 14% of our operating budget. So as we've been going through this fiscal year, we have received our citywide general fund budget instructions. Not great news. I think as we mentioned last month, we expected it wouldn't be great. So the citywide general fund shortfall estimate at this time is 60 million for next fiscal year, and then additional 30 million in 26-27. So the city manager's direction, their budget balancing strategies that they've given to all departments to start looking at ongoing reductions, eliminations, or restructuring to lower priority services and programs, identifying alternative delivery methods and funding sources, preserving limited resources to support city council approved focus areas, critical city service area programs and services and programs, reallocating resources to continue one-time funded services and programs, very limited consideration of priority urgent new investments, and then a 2-year planning approach to address additional shortfall anticipated for the following fiscal year. So our department direction this year, they did implement immediate cost control measures in the current fiscal year. Some of those include a hiring freeze for existing vacancies. There is an exception process, but they're being very stringent about that. So, you know, we really have to scrutinize overtime costs, employee travel, any employee travel costs that come out of the general fund, as well as, you know, other extraneous costs. And we have been directed to be very careful with the remaining resources in all of our funds. So currently, our department is embarking on developing potential reduction scenarios to address the citywide general fund shortfall. And I'm going to skip to the next slide real quick, and then we'll bring you back to this slide. So our next steps, we are in the process of completing a staff engagement process and reviewing our department proposals. So this year we have already conducted 2 town halls for all of our staff, just to inform them of the state of the budget, and a pretty robust staff feedback exercise. So we wanted to understand kind of what the staff actually feel are the priorities for the library as we deal with these conditions, and then also getting their reduction ideas, the reduction proposals from our staff. And then we will actually run this exercise today. We'll go back to that slide. And then in what we just received our staff feedback on last Friday. So we have been working this week to kind of start reviewing the proposals. It is very early in the process. So unfortunately, we don't have too much we can share at this point, but we just wanted to update you that we are working on that process. So we will be aligning our feedback with the budget direction, the staff feedback, and then our department priorities. We will submit our library budget proposals to the city manager's office. Everything is due to them next week. And at that time, we should be able to provide additional information to everybody. And then, as you know, the Library Commission Budget Ad Hoc Subcommittee is, we've started, I believe we have a kickoff meeting tomorrow. And we will work with this ad hoc subcommittee convene and develop the commission's budget position letter. Okay, and I'm gonna bring up Carla Alvarez, our chief of staff, and she's going to run us through a prioritization exercise.
Hi, good evening, commissioners. Carla Alvarez, library chief of staff. So as we have, can you go back to the priority slide? That's not real. As we've shared, it's important for us to really, as we think about our budgeting process, consider the different stakeholders that are part of the library and give space and opportunity to hear from you about how you view the priorities and opportunities for the library to continue to best serve the residents of San Jose. So we've shared with you a list of priorities that we would like to now engage you with. It's the same exercise we asked the staff to participate in, and so now we extend the invitation to you all. We have 5 core priority areas that are guided by our mission. And so these are community learning, assets and infrastructure, trust and belonging, right to library, and workplace culture. And within each of these priority areas in the list that we've shared with you are some of the components of the facets of the library service model, comprising our collection, our programs, our resources, our materials. So now, as part of also hearing from you and adding yet another set of inputs for us as we continue to work through our budgeting process, we'd like to have you complete the exercise. So we will take over to the slide with the QR code. So we'll try to be a little bit tech inclusive tonight, but if it doesn't work, let us know. We also have this sheets printed out for you. So those of you, if you have a computer device that you have access to, you can use your camera to take a picture and go to that QR form. So what we're asking everyone to do is within each of those 5 priority areas, as you see the bullet points listed, to see how you
would prioritize within those groupings. So we'll give you a few minutes to complete them. And as you're kind of reviewing, I'll just give some of the highlights again for reflection. So under community learning, we're looking at the ways that we foster learning and build skill building pathways that empower diverse communities to thrive. So that includes educational programming for formal and informal learning for youth, collecting and retaining local history, and providing new and emerging technologies and skills building. For assets and infrastructure, we're looking at areas like ensuring our facilities are safe, clean, and well maintained, as well as providing access to current technologies that are secure and support access to information. Under trust and belonging, we're looking at things like communicating the value of the library to increase engagement and supporting communities seeking information on citizenship, immigration, English language learning. Under right to library, it will comprise building and making available a collection that reflects the wide range of experiences and perspectives within a community, providing excellent customer service at all points of engagement, and making library services and collections accessible and discoverable for our online community. And last but not least, workplace culture, which would include building camaraderie and a sense of belonging through staff recognition events, embracing change and appropriate risks as a learning organization, and providing regular training opportunities. Are there any questions as you're completing that we might be able to answer? Okay. And if anyone would needs to submit it in the Word document, you can also just write down the numbers and we can plug that and add that to the survey.
And for those completing the survey, if you agree with all the points that are listed in that order, you still need to move something for it to record your response. So just throwing that.
Otherwise, it thinks you haven't selected anything. We will go ahead and share a preliminary results. And if you need a little bit more time, you can still submit later. But you will be able to take a look at the initial set of results.
And a quick check for understanding when you're done, give us a thumbs up. Needs to do my class when you're ready to go.
And here you are. These are coming in live, so they'll update yes.
What does provide technology and software solutions that support efficiency and reduce low value or mundane tasks?
Yes.
What is that referring to?
Automated material handling. So like sorting and delivery, like additional technology that helps with sorting of materials.
Oh,
It's
sorting
internal.
physical materials?
It could be anything, but yeah, it's internal to the library, doing our work more efficiently using technology.
Got it.
Yeah.
Okay, I thought
That's a
that
good
meant
question.
Excel or something.
Yeah,
have
we
that
originally wrote this for staff. so
Okay,
It's good translation.
okay, thank you.
You could use Excel.
Yes. All right, so you can start to see, we have initial responses. You can just scroll down to the community learning section. So you'll see, the form is automatically moving the options around. So you'll see an order of priority based on the responses so far in the room. Community learning, we're looking at general enrichment program coming in at the top. And then followed by educational programming to support formal and informal learning for youth. The answers don't get fully included there unless you toggle over it. And then third is job seekers seeking to explore and navigate employment pathways. For assets and infrastructure, again, we know that the responses are coming in, but right now we're looking at ensuring that facilities are safe and clean, followed by providing access to current technologies, and then technology and software. Trust and belong. It's automated, yeah. Trust and belonging. Communicating the value of the library came in, and then second is supporting communities seeking information on citizenship, immigration, English language learning,
And then third is respectful shared spaces for individuals experiencing vulnerabilities especially. Then for right to library, the top answer is building and making available a collection that reflects the wide range of experiences. Number 2 is ensuring access to information by maximizing the hours the library can be open to the public. And third is make library services and collections accessible and discoverable for our online community. And 7, workplace culture, training opportunities came at the top. Second is building camaraderie and sense of belonging. And third, embracing change and appropriate risk as a learning organization, followed by empowering individuals to contribute their time, skills, and talents to enhancing the library. Okay, so thank you very much for participating in this exercise. Again, this will be part of an overall input that will continue to guide the decision-making for the budgeting process.
That concludes our budget presentation. We're happy to take any questions.
All right, before we get any questions or comments, we'll open up the floor for any public comment online or in the community.
There is not.
Floor is open for the commission. Questions and comments. Yourself.
I feel like I should know this, so I'm admitting that I haven't been following it. Why is there such a deficit predicted at the city level? What's happening?
The early reports that we received was the performance of this, of largely sales tax has gone down in the last year. But they're tracking all the different revenue measures, and there will continue to get updates throughout the process. In past years, the numbers do change at different points of the process, so hopefully they'll go in the right direction.
Other questions you found?
We didn't use the QR code, can you just give me that?
Thank you, Commissioner. I want to say thank you for having us participate in this similar activities of what staff is going through. It helps us understand what folks are engaging in. So thank you for that. Any other comments or questions from the commission? Let's get up for our presenters one more time. Thank you. As a reminder, that was an informational item, so it does not require any action. So we'll move on to our next item, which is council liaisons and announcements. Welcome.
Thank you for having me. My name is Rosemary May, and sorry.
Thank you. My name is Rosemary Kamei, and for the next 2 weeks, I will still be the vice mayor until the 28th. But I am the liaison to this committee, and just a couple of things that happened in this last week. We approved assignments for our committees, and the new I wanted to share some information in terms of what would be relevant for this committee. The new Neighborhood Services and Education Committee will be chaired by Peter Ortiz. We will have the vice chair, Bien Dawn, and the council members who will be part of it is council members Cohen, Candelas, and Campos. The Youth Commission is going to have a new liaison. I have been liaison for these last 2 years, and it'll now go to council member Pamela Campos. We talked about legislative priorities in our meeting, and one of them was to advocate for educational and employment opportunities that foster equitable outcomes for San Jose families. And so that will be something for this coming year. The other relevant information is that the new D3 interim council member will be chosen on January 28th. So I know those of you who live in the community have known, have been listening about that. And they will take office February 2nd. So it's going to be a very, very quick turnaround. And then it'll be followed by the elections in April. The new vice mayor takes sort of a rotation every 2 years. And this year, the new vice mayor will be Councilmember Pam Foley. And that should happen on January 28th, which is our next meeting. As you all know, the city of San Jose is going to close on January 20th for Martin Luther King Day. And we will be doing with collaboration with the Parks and Recreation, a day of service at Hammond Park, January 20th. And the Beautify San Jose Neighborhood Forum is going to take place January 25th at Roosevelt Community Center. And the other activity is every year, for the last 2 years, I have hosted Black History Month, and it will be on February 7th at 5 p.m. at the Plaza and Rotundas, and it's open to the public, so please come join us. Thank you.
Yeah, let's give it up for Vice Mayor. Anything public comment, any questions or comments for our current Vice Mayor? Yes, thank you so much for being here.
And I will continue to be your liaison. So I stayed on
Wonderful, wonderful. We'll keep it moving to chair's announcements. I just want to wish everyone a happy new year. Obviously with the new year comes new challenges, but also new opportunities. And as we heard about the budget, and just challenge us in this upcoming year to be as active as we can be, attending meetings, not just our commission meetings, but attending budget hearing meetings, attending city council meetings to ensure that we're advocating on behalf of our libraries and our community. Because prior to the start of the new year, it was just so cool to tap into all the great events that we have here. For example, got to check out a Lego building event at the Rose Garden Library with my kids, and we took a group of, there was like 10 kids that we took over. It was a lot of fun. And it was just a cool space for them just to play with Legos. We checked out some books, free resources, but also my kiddos got to check out, there was like a gymnastics play date here downstairs. Ton of fun. The We Play, my kids, one of them was a little too big for that. They advertised it as a superhero gymnastics day. Not quite, but either way, it was a good place for my kiddos to come, have a good time, get some exercise out. And those types of events are just crucial to the development of our community. So I just want to say that. Any questions or comments for chair's announcement? All right, I'll turn it over to our library director for announcements.
Thank you, Chair Magana. As our chair just mentioned, we do have so many programs through the holidays and upcoming. So this whole month, we are celebrating Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. Day with special story times. They're all free and they're held at several of our SJPL locations. So please check out sjpl.org throughout the month. This Friday, we are celebrating the Tully Community Branch's 20th anniversary and Lunar New Year. On the 17th from 3:30 to 5:30 p.m. We're going to kick off with our District 7 Councilmember, Bien Dawn, and also County Supervisor Betty Young is going to be there with myself. And if any of you can attend, please let us know. There'll be special performances, lion dancers, crafts, and giveaways. Of course, it's free and everyone is welcome. The URL for that, for more information about this event is sjpl.org/Tully20. We are also celebrating the Year of the Snake with other Lunar New Year celebrations at the Berryessa Branch Library on Saturday 25th from 10 to 1. And I think we have another one happening at Seven Trees, and it's that afternoon. So on the 25th, and if you go to sjpl.org/Lunar New Year, you can find out more information about that. Also kicking off this at the end of this month on January 30th at 7 p.m., which is Thursday at the Visual Performing Arts Center at De Anza College, is Silicon Valley Reads 2025, which most of you will know is an annual partnership that the San Jose Public Library participates with the Santa Clara County Office of Education and also the Santa Clara County Library System. And this year, our Silicon Valley Reads topic, our theme is Empowering Humanity, Technology for a Better World. So AI is definitely part of one of the books at least. And so you can find out more about the selected books and all of the events that are coming up in the next several months with our authors at sjpl.org/svreads. We have many events happening in branches across San Jose, so please check that out. And then, as our vice mayor said, we do have a holiday closure coming up on January 20th, which is Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. Day. And then also Wednesday, January 29th, Lunar New Year Day. Our branches are closed, but the King Library will be open. That concludes my report. I welcome any questions.
Any public comment? Questions or comments regarding our library directors announcement? We'll then move on to comments and announcements. We'll start off with announcements and meetings attended by commissioners as commissioners. Floor is open. We'll then move on to item B, which is the San Jose Public Library Foundation Board.
Thank you, Chair. Good evening, Library Commission. There's a lot to do. Thank you to Dawn for your help, but there's a lot to do before the March Mayor's budget comes out. I just wanted to highlight that for everyone. Some of us sit on the advocacy committee and we will inevitably bother you to come for things. Please answer my call. The San Jose Public Library Foundation's end-of-year fundraising campaign exceeded its goal by raising $210,000, with a few more late checks that are dated prior to January 1st still being received. So yay, give them more money. It will take another month before they have informal figures regarding the total amount of money raised and spent in all of 2024. But I'm sure there will be a report that comes out. In the first San Jose Public Library Foundation Board meeting is scheduled for January 24th, where we will continue working on a new strategic plan to guide the foundation decisions through the end of 2027 and 40th anniversary. And finally, the Chief Philanthropy Officer, Nicole Chidi, who has joined our meetings every once in a while, is resigning after being at the foundation for more than 5 years. So Dawn will be recruiting for a new Chief Development Officer. That position is going to be posted shortly on the Library Foundation website. And so if the commission can help make sure that qualified people are aware of this opportunity, that would be really helpful. It's really hard to find fundraisers, so very, very, very hard. So, so please let's all help Dawn in being successful in hiring good leadership. Thank you.
Any questions regarding SJPL Foundation's board update? All right, item 10, information and upcoming opportunities for commission participation. Check it out at sjpl.org to check out the program calendar. We'll go on to item 11, which is items for future commission meeting agendas. Floor is open for recommendations from the commission. All right, seeing none. As a reminder for folks, our next meeting will take place on Wednesday, February 19th, 2025 at Educational Park Library Branch. Not here, we'll be at Educational Park Library Branch. So with that, y'all, thank you so much for being here on a Wednesday at 8:27. We will adjourn at 8:27. And don't forget, if